This will be part 2 of What If Deku Was in a Zombie Apocalypse. Alright, so last time I left off, a bit after the apocalypse has started, and let me give you a refresh of Deku's current stats. His strength is at an E+, speed's at E, intelligence C-, defense E, health is also an E. His level is 250. His rank is intermediate third class. He is 1,800 health, skill analyst, skill fast growth, skill runner, and basic telekinesis. He's currently at the half Z evolution in that, so just so you know. Alright, that's everything I wanted to refresh, I think. Yep. Alright. So, Deku, let's pick it up off some random day. So Deku, it's like 2 weeks after the time that Deku had beaten his first mutant zombie, the one that spits acid. So it's about 2 weeks after that. So Deku, he's walking around, just wandering around the streets as per usual, killing some zombies for XP, like he would do. And he ends up finding another couple mutant zombies. Well, not a couple, just one, but and he finds it attacking actually a small group of people, a group of 3 people, let's say. So Deku, who still wanted to be a hero, decided that, well, I should probably help them. So he runs over using his runner skill, increasing his speed by 20%. He then pulls out his bat and then runs straight towards the thing. He ends up hitting it in the head, and Deku, he got a class up. Not just a class up, he ranked up since last time he fought one of these. So it doesn't come right off, but it's only 2 or 3 hits away from getting off this time. Last time it took like 10, 12. No, this time it's much, much quicker. The mutant zombie then turned to Deku, and with a wave of its hand, shot fire at Deku. Deku didn't expect this, and only partially dodged. He ducked and his back got burnt a bit. Nothing super serious, but not good either. So Deku, he ends up running into the battle again, ignoring the pain in his back, which, due to his race, one of the perks is pain, you don't feel it quite as much. So it's bearable, but it sucks, basically. So he runs in, and he ends up saving the 3 after defeating the mutant and gaining a good 15 levels on top of the zombies he was killing earlier. That put him up to 270, which is nice for him. So, yeah. He's now level 270. Yeah. His strength increased from E plus to D. His speed from E to D minus. His intelligence from C minus just to C. His defense from E to D. And his health from from E to D as well. So, Deku, he went over to the other group of people and he asked them if they were alright. They asked who he was. They said yeah. Then a girl asked, "Who are you?" Deku responded with, "I'm just someone passing by." And yeah. And the other two then ask, seeing Deku's face, since it is a bit different than you would expect a normal human to be, they asked what was wrong with it. Being rude and, ignoring the fact that he just saved their lives. And these two, they were like, let's say one of them was Kirishima, and the other was Kaminari. Alright? And yes, quirks are still a thing. Some of the abilities shown by zombies are quirks. Most zombies don't have quirks, but if they're mutant or higher levels, then they can have them. So yeah. So Deku, he just says, "It's just the way I look." The two then are like, "So you weren't bitter?" Like, because, that's an honest question. It's like, Deku's like, "No, I wasn't." So they're like, "Fine." And they then ask, how did he get so strong? And was that his quirk? Deku said, "No, I'm quirkless. I'm just using the system." And they were all like, "System." Deku then explained was there should be a screen that pops up whenever you say activate system. And it should have shown up for you by now. So if it hasn't, then just say activate system and it should. The three then obliged and said activate system. And they were definitely surprised. So the system pops up. It read Kirishima, rank none, level 22, race human, stats strength D minus, speed E, intelligence D plus, defense B minus, health D plus. And pretty much the same thing for Kaminari, except his intelligence was lower, speed was higher. It's nothing super. I'm not gonna go into detail about all this stuff, but yeah, basically same stuff. It read his quirk for that. It also had information on his quirk. Same with for Kirishima and Jiro. That is the girl. I forgot to say it, didn't I? Oh well. So Kirishima then asked how did he get so strong to beat that zombie. Deku said, I just used the system. You know, you should have different, you should be able to see it different ranks and everything on them, on the system. And they're like, oh, interesting. So, Kirishima then finds the system, what's it called? I'm sorry, my brain's like breaking for whatever reason. They find the ranks, and it shows their ranks at none, and then it shows their ranks at none, then it shows starter with class 3, 2, and 1, then intermediate, then advanced, learner, specialist, commander, king, emperor, and disaster. And they're like, wow. Denki then stumbles upon the classes and asks what these were and which one of them Deku was. Deku said, oh, you get to pick those once you get to the advanced rank. It's basically what type of fighting you'll do, or whatever else you're planning on doing. They nodded and then thought, interesting. It would only show them the first rank of each class: fighter, mage, defender, rogue, builder, medic, and tracker. They asked Deku how long he'd been, what his was, and he answered honestly, intermediate, third class. And they were like, wow, that's impressive. And Deku said, yeah, thanks. Anyways. So, it's like not working today. I'm sorry. So he's like, yeah, well, so how did you guys even survive this whole time? And they went into a detailed story of how they kind of got lucky and hid in a place, and how they just recently came out to get food, and you know, how they just got food and they were trying to head back to their hiding spot before, before they could, before they could, the mutant zombie kind of like snuck up on them and attacked them. Deku said, interesting. Can I see this hideout, like, type area? Because he's curious. I mean, that makes sense, right? Wouldn't you be curious? And they're like, yeah. And they go over and they go to a building and then climb up to its rooftop. It's like a 4 or 5 story building. No, let's say 6-story building, alright? So fall from there, not good. But the zombies probably wouldn't hear you as long as you weren't being obnoxiously loud. You could have a nice conversation without any coming at you. So yeah. Deku, he followed them there, and they had a nice space camp. You know, they had 3 tents, one for each of them. Deku nodded and said, "Not bad, not bad," thinking. They even had a fire pit. And Deku's like, interesting. Jiro then offered Deku that he could stay with them. And Deku nodded and said, "I don't know, I'm pretty much out training all day. Even in my old place, which, I don't really spend much time in there." The three of them then managed to convince Deku after, I don't know, like half an hour of lobbying. They then sat down and they all ate the food that the other three had gathered earlier. Deku then explains some things about the system to them after Denki's request, gotta figure out how to use the system. Deku basically gives them a crash course on it, how there's different skills, how there's different stats, and after you go from no rank to starter rank, to get to intermediate rank, you're gonna need all your stats maxed. And they're like, "Holy crap, how do we do that?" And Deku says, "Kill some zombies and do quests." And they're questioning, like, what are his quests? He's answering all their questions, like, quests the system gives them to you every once in a while. I've had a few. Nothing super difficult. And, yeah. They then say, okay. So, yeah. Deku ends up staying with them. He ends up sharing a tent with Kirishima, since he doesn't really mind. And Deku, he thinks this is an interesting idea, and, you should hang out with a couple other people at least, give them something to do. So the next morning, Deku's up pretty early, since he really doesn't need that much sleep. So he starts doing, his training that he does. He starts messing around with his telekinesis, but he does it at the same time as, doing push-ups and all these other exercises, simply to strengthen the telekinesis and make it so he can focus on controlling it and doing something else at the same time, so it would be more useful in combat. Because if you have to focus everything on the telekinesis, not quite as useful. And after about an hour of this, Jiro is the first awake, and she ends up seeing Deku training, and he doesn't have a shirt on anymore, so she blushes a little bit. And he notices her and says hello. And she asks what he's doing. Deku responds with training. And she says, okay. And she ends up just watching for a little while. And Deku then he then starts doing some other exercises, and at this point he's just focusing on the telekinesis more than anything else, but it's still like he's doing other things while focusing on the telekinesis. And yeah. So that's what he's doing. Yeah. So another 30 minutes go by, and the other two wake up, And they see Deku doing his awesome training. And they're like, wow, so this is how we increase our stats? Deku nods and then says, it takes a while, so, you know, get used to it. Yeah. And they're like, nodding, like, yep, we'll do this. And, they all have breakfast after this. Deku insists that he doesn't need it, but, Jiro makes him eat, since, you know, you can't just not eat in a zombie apocalypse. I mean, Deku can, but the others, they don't know that about him yet. And it might be a little while before he tells anyone. And, yeah. So Deku, he's about to go off the roof and, check out, uh, his, you know, normal spot for zombies. And he was also going to make a nice checkup on the hordes at the moment. And, yeah. He then gets a quest alert. Horde incoming is the quest name. Defeat the small horde of zombies. Time of arrival 4 hours. Bonus objective: save friends. Don't let anyone die. Basically. Rewards for main quest: special armor and gear. Reward for bonus completion: bonus skill, bonus weapon. And Deku thought, interesting. And it also showed 20,000 XP, which, holy shit, that's a lot. That's enough to get him up to enter class 2, intermediate class 2, if not class 1, he thought. And he's like, well, I better warn the others, but I gotta analyze the horde first. So he went from his usual hunting spot to a hide building. And he gets up and he starts looking around. He's having trouble spotting them, but then he spots them. The horde. He ends up getting a notification. New skill unlocked. Eagle Eye. I'm giving this skill so he can look at them from afar better. Anyways. So, Deku, he then's like, Eagle Eye, huh? Well, that'll probably just help me scope out this group. He then activated it, and he noticed that he can see, like, very clear details, like small details about the zombies now, where he could barely see anything before. And he's like, wow. He then starts using Analyst on all the strongest looking zombies. And he finds that there's 3 mutants, and that's gonna be a pain. He uses Analyst on all of them. And turns out the mutants, 2 of them have a quirk, one of them doesn't. One of them's just strong. And he thinks, well, at least one of them doesn't have a quirk. Then he thinks, damn, this is going to be a pain in the ass. He then starts jumping from rooftop to rooftop, back towards the others. He gets there and, you know, he startles them when he gets there. They're like, holy crap, where'd you come from? And Deku's like, no time to talk about that. There's a horde on their way. And they're like, a horde? What the fuck? Why are they coming here? And how do you know? Deku says, well, I've been monitoring the horde's activities, and I noticed they were coming this direction. I then got a quest alert. If you can hear my dog, I'm sorry. I then got a quest alert telling me that zombies are coming here, and I have two objectives here: protecting you guys and destroying the horde. So, let's do this. They were like, okay, I guess. And Deku, after his training before, I forgot to mention this, his strength went from D to C minus. His speed from D minus to D plus. His intelligence from C to C plus. His defense from D to D plus. His health from D to just D. Doesn't change. Just so you know. Deku was then like, alright, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Because you try and deal with the horde. And yeah. So, Deku, he goes through and he gets ready. You know, making sure to think of some strategies, telling the group where to go in an event of whatever happening. He's like, if I lose, you're gonna want to take this route out of here and just keep running. Keep running. Like, do not, like, stop for a long ass time. They are going to be chasing you, and they are a horde, so they are not very fast, but they probably will chase you for a while. And until you can beat them, don't stop running. And they ask how he plans on taking them out. And Deku says, I have a couple of things I can do. So Deku, he makes sure, you know, his basic clothing, you know, it's as much armor as he's gonna get, since he doesn't really have any yet, except for the shoes that are special that increase his speed by 20%. Yeah. Since this is only really artifacts, so yeah. So yeah, Deku, he's ready to go, and the horde's gonna be here in 5 minutes. Deku jumps to another rooftop. He then he then jumps down into the middle of the horde after a minute of waiting. So at this point, it's just like within eyesight of the other three, but they're not like in the fray. They are not fighting. And Deku, he went in and he stabbed right through the head of one of the mutants right on his first strike, which worked very, very well for him. And yeah, he ended up actually managing to get he actually managed to get it like down. It was dead, which was great. And he got a new skill after he did that called stealth, which he thought, all right, that's good. And so he's like, alright. It basically just makes it harder for zombies and other people to notice him if he doesn't want to be when the skill's active. And yeah. So Deku, he's like, alright, well, that's useful, but I'm kind of busy right now. He then continues to go. Oh, yeah, he also picked up Vital Strike as a skill. Well, Critical Strike, my bad. And it basically, it's an increased chance at a critical hit. Alright, that's what it is. And yeah. So Deku, he's you know, beating them up, and now he's gotten through like a third of the fodder zombies, and he's killed one of the mutant ones. One of the mutant ones with a quirk. The other mutant zombie then looked at him, and then shot a wave of electricity at him. Deku wasn't able to dodge this. He then thought, damn it, this hurts. Because it's like frying his body a bit. And the other three watching this are like horrified. Like, is that gonna take him out? Like, what the fuck's going on? Is he gonna be okay? Deku, he's fine. I mean, it hurts like hell and it's gonna mess up his body for a bit, but he's fine. So, yeah. Let's see. Deku, he then goes running towards, said zombie. He's using his telekinesis to carry his bat in front of him. Since there's metal around it, he is trying to activate it and use it as something akin to a lightning rod. And he's running through, punching zombies' heads off in his way. Hiroshima noting how manly it was. And yeah. So, Deku, he's currently running right towards the thing, and the thing shoots another wave of electricity at Deku. But his plan with the bat, it actually works. So yeah. And he's like, all right then, that's great. And yeah. So Deku, he keeps going, and he ends up getting there, and he ends up swinging the bat with telekinesis. He couldn't put a lot of force into it, but it's still charged electricity. So he's hoping the zombie's quirk doesn't allow it to, resist electricity. And Deku was right. The critical, he then, after the bot shocked it, Deku was only a second behind it. He then grabbed it, since it was no longer charged with electricity, activated the skill Critical Strike, and struck the thing in the side of the head, knocking its head off, killing it. Congrats for that, right? So, now, Deku, he's defeated about half of the fodder zombies, and there's the one mutant left. This one had the highest stats of them all, and For comparison, it's about at Deku's level, maybe a bit higher. Let's say Deku's at intermediate class 3, the thing's at intermediate class 2 with the same stats. It's not super overwhelmingly stronger than him, but he couldn't beat it off of strength, let's say. Alright? So, yeah. Deku tries to stay away from it for the time being, ending up defeating about 2/3 of the zombies before he ends up having to fight it. He grabs his bat, grips it very tightly, then runs towards the thing. He ends up going, he ends up actually making it there and hitting the thing in the head, but its head didn't budge. It ended up grabbing Deku's arm and threw him away. And Deku was like, oh shit. And he uses his telekinesis to bring his bat to him while backing away from the thing. He thinks, damn, that's a problem. So he's thinking about, what can he do here? He then tries to come up with a plan. He comes up with one where he uses his telekinesis on the knife that was still in the other mutant zombie's head. He grabbed it with his telekinesis and pulled it towards him. It actually no, he didn't pull it towards him. He pulled it around and behind this mutant zombie. The mutant zombie ended up dashing towards Deku this time. Almost, and then it kicked him, and this almost broke some bones. This is like painful shit. Like, damn, that hurts, man, type thing. And Kirishima, Denkinari, and Jiro are like, shit, we gotta do something. And, they start trying to make their way down, but they're not as fast as Deku, so it's gonna take them a couple minutes. So, and they're not as strong as Deku, so that's not really reliable. Deku notices this and thinks, damn it, I have to finish this fast. He then uses telekinesis as fast as it can go, ramming the knife into the thing's head. But the thing was, it did slow the thing down quite a bit, and it did end up losing focus on Deku, which was great. But it didn't kill it immediately. So Deku, he went with his bat, activated critical strike, and went immediately for the kill shot. And he's like, alright, I gotta beat this thing now. And he ends up going with a baseball bat and swings right into its face. This didn't kill it, but with the nails and everything on the bat, it effectively blinded it. Deku then used his telekinesis to pull out the knife in the back of its head. It wasn't in there too far, so we could still get it with his telekinesis. He then grabbed the knife and he rammed it into the thing's head, pulling it out and then stabbing it again repeatedly. He did this about 10 more times till the thing finally fell. Deku had a smile on his face. Like, damn. Like, I just did that. That's great. I'm impressed. I did not think I could win that there. And yeah. Deku then thinks, well, I better finish this off. He then started using his bat and finished off the rest of them. Once he got the last one, he got a quest alert. Quest completed. Defeat the Horde. Bonus objective completed. Save friends. Make sure no one dies, basically. Rewards will be given shortly. Skill acquired. Rage. Artifacts acquired. A gas mask, like you're seeing here, gloves, and the jacket that you're seeing, along with some nice pants, appeared. Deku thought, damn, that's nice. That's useful. And they even came with some boots that said plus 25% running speed. So 5% better than his current. He also got a notification, skill runner is increasing to sprint, is evolving into sprint. Basic telekinesis is turning into telekinesis. And yeah. It also gave him a notification. In a total of 6 hours, you will be turning into your next evolution. Be prepared. Level is now 500. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Alright, level increased to 500. Fast growth skill increased to fast, evolved into fast learner. Current stats increased. Strength from D to A minus. Speed from D plus to A. Intelligence from C plus to A. Defense from D plus to A minus. Health from D to B plus. And Deku's like, damn, that's like a lot of abilities. It also gave him a notice. Intermediate class 1 rank upgrade. Almost ready. Deku got a new quest. Increase rank. Achieve level 1000 and max out stats. Increase rank from intermediate first class to advanced third class. Then pick a class. Rewards, special artifact, and special skill. They thought, damn, that's gonna be some grinding, but I'll do it. And it was a small horde, so. Oh yeah, he also got a bunch of stuff that the zombies dropped. Since the system works like this, let me explain it. For example, zombies have a small chance to drop, shit. And mutant zombies have a higher chance to drop shit. The stronger the zombie, the more likely it is to drop something. And there was, a lot of zombies. Let's say like 1,000 almost. And 3 of them were mutants. All 3 of the mutants dropped something. And about 4 or 5 other things were dropped. Just some nice basic tools couple weapons and things like that. Anyways, that being said, the three then got to Deku and were like, "Are you okay, man? Like, we saw you losing, like, and we came down to help. Where's the, big zombie?" Deku's like, he smiles and is like, "I got them all." Anyways, let's go back up there. I need sleep, you know. And they're like, okay. So, they go and they'll have dinner. And Deku then goes to sleep, having earned it, definitely. During his sleep, he felt extremely hot. He ended up like, what's going on here, man? He ends up like, oh yeah, right, the evolution. He then passed out. He ended up waking up in the morning with all three of them being awake. He got up and noticed that he felt a lot stronger and everything, you know. And if I was doing numbers for stats, they would have tripled. I'm not, but like, just so you know, he's like 3 times stronger in each category now, not including the letter bonuses that I gave him earlier the past day. Just so you know, depending on the rank or race upgrade, it will increase like that. So yeah. So yeah. Deku then got up and saw the rest of them already awake. He said good morning and asked how they were doing. They said they were fine and that they were about to have breakfast if he wanted to join them. Deku nodded and sat down and ate with them. So Deku, he he was like, damn, that was a difficult battle. And you know, Kirishima, well, no, not Kirishima, Denki, or Kaminari, whichever one you want to call him, started pestering Deku about, what that, stuff that dropped was. Deku explained that if you kill enough zombies, things will drop. Since he had gotten a couple things to drop before, like 2 or 3, but they weren't very useful, so I didn't mention them. Just so you know. And Deku said, "Well, you're welcome to, you know, take 1 or 2 of these." And he then said, "Oh yeah, I forgot." He then took off his shoes and said, "Denki, here, take these." Denki said, "Those aren't my size." Denki said, "Just put them on, they will be." Denki, confused, did as Deku said, and was surprised when they changed shape to fit his feet. This is artifacts, alright? Artifacts. They're gonna, do this type of shit. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to give me these?" And Denki's like, "Yeah, they give you a 20% increase in your speed." And Denki's like, "Wow, why are you just giving them to me then?" Deku said, "I got ones that are 25% speed increase." Deku then opened his system and inventory button. You can store artifacts in there. He picked out his nice, coat, gloves, gas mask, and everything. And he's like, "What do you think?" He puts it on. He's like, "Yup." And Kirishima comments on it being very manly. Denki's just like, damn, that's cool. And Jiro blushes a little bit. And yeah. So, so they were all like, alright then. And they want to train with Deku. Since he's like on shit, basically. But no, it's really, it's the work of a skill. Formerly known as fast growth, now fast learner. Okay, I'm not very creative with the name, but I couldn't think of anything better. So yeah, giving him now, instead of a 10% bonus on how fast he can learn skills and increase his stats, to a 50% bonus. Yes, I'm making him OP. I gotta explain it somehow. Alright. So yeah. Kaminari asked if his class went up, or since or what his level was now. Deku said, "Well, I went from intermediate class 3 to intermediate class 1, and I went up from level 270 to level 500. I also gained a couple skills and increased the level of some of my skills I already had." They were like, "Wow, holy shit," you know. And yeah, Deku said, "Yeah, but I have to increase my level by another 500 before I can get to advanced third class and pick a class for myself," which kind of sucks. But, you know. They then asked about his stats, what they were increased to. Deku said A minus for strength, speed is A, intelligence A, defense A minus, and health B plus. They're like, wow, that is a big increase. But I mean, think about it. He deserved that. All right. Anyways, so he ended up, deciding to wear the thing full time, since this is an artifact. Basically, unofficially speaking, his defense right now it's an A minus. With the thing on, it's like an S. See, it's like it goes up by like 4 ranks. It goes. So unofficially, his defense is S, and his speed is also increased by this set by 25% for the boots, and the full set gives him another 5% on top of that. His strength increased by 10%, his intelligence by 20%. So yeah, it's a pretty useful set of armor. He's also now basically extremely resistant to extremely resistant to poisons, especially gases. So yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention his health also increased to 2,600. Actually, I would just say 2,500. All right, make it a better number. So yeah. So that's what his health's at now. That's his max health cap at the moment. Actually, no, let's make it 5,000. Why I'm saying this? Because he increased his race went up. So otherwise I would have kept it at 2,500. But we're gonna make it 5,000 now. All right, that sounds good. And yeah, and they're like, wow. And like Kirishima compares, he's like, I only have a health of like 1,000, like 100, and Denki's like, I only have 800. Jiro having 800 as well. And they're like, damn. Denki's like, I don't know. And So yeah, and so Deku he decides that they should do some nice training today. Let them relax a bit. Basically, just teach them what to do. So he's showing them all the exercises, meanwhile messing around with his telekinesis, this time with, multiple objects. Since before he could only really hold 10 pounds with it, not really gonna bother. But with 50 pounds, that's like, that's better. And they can fly faster and, everything like that. So he's practicing with a couple knives, which is some of the things the zombies dropped. It also dropped, well, one of the mutant ones, the one without a quirk, ended up dropping a sword artifact. And Deku, he gave it to Denki. And he's like, you should learn how to use this. And Denki's like, awesome, that'd be awesome, And yeah. So Deku, he's like, yep. And yeah. So he's training them, and he trains all three of them. And yeah. So he puts them through hell for a good 3-4 hours. And he only demonstrated what he was doing. So I'm not going to increase any of his stats except for intelligence, which will go from an A to an A+, just because he's teaching. Anyways. So he says, well, you guys all look tired. I'm gonna go get some zombies in the area. Let me know if, you need help. And, just thinking, how would I, how should we communicate long distance? They could then thought, well, there's probably walkie-talkies in the store around here. I mean, right? Right? They don't need cell service, do they? I don't think so. But anyways, Deku then immediately decides, alright, activate sprint and, go running around trying to find some. He ends up finding them, and he brings them back after about 30 minutes. Since, with his boots on and everything, with everything activated, 30% from his armor and boots, and another 40% from his skill. That's 70% increase on his speed, which is already A rank at intermediate in class 1. I mean, he's faster than, like, let's say his sprinting speed is like, I don't know, 17 miles per hour or something like that, right? And, yeah. So, Deku, he gets ready, and, he's given the others a walkie-talkie. Each of them got one, just in case they were ever separated. And he's like, alright, contact me if you need anything. Since, if they're attacked, he's got to be able to help. Right? Anyways. So, he's running around and, killing zombies this time. And, he comes back after, like, 4 hours of this. And he's like, he is, tired, since he has been sprinting this whole time. He's been using that skill the whole time and running at max speed. And his speed, well, let's go to his stat increase. Strength went from A- to A+. He ended up beating a couple zombies, well, more than a couple. But yeah, his speed went from A to S-. His intelligence went from A plus to S minus as well. His difference went from A minus to A, since, he wasn't getting hit much. And his health went from B plus to A minus, thanks to his quick learner skill. Right. And, yeah. So, yeah. He's now level 570. Yeah. Deku, he then, continues, well, he goes back and has dinner with the group. And, they asked how eventful Deku's day was. Deku said, nothing I couldn't handle. I increased my stats a bit, and, that was that. And, yeah. I think I'm gonna end this here. Yeah. I'll probably add another part soon.